In the headlines, Finance Minister says current hardship over new Naira notes temporary as CBN directs banks to pay currency over the counter. Two-story building collapses in Abuja, many trapped. Minister recants, says President Buhari supports Bola Tinubu. And on the foreign scene, Pope Francis urges African youths to shun ethnic rivalry and corruption. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Husseina Usman. And now the news in detail. The federal government says the current hardship Nigerians are expressing while trying to get the new Naira notes is temporary, needed for the country's economic growth. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed said this on Wednesday at the 65th ministerial briefing organized by the Presidential Communications Team in State House, Abuja. She said the federal government was worried about the suffering of citizens occasioned by the currency swap in banks across the country, but described the development as a transient pain. According to her, President Muhammadu Buhari is unhappy with the situation, likening it to a wound that needs to be dressed. The minister, who stressed that the new policy was necessary and appropriate at this moment to combat corruption, added that it had had some positive effects with the massive mop-ups of funds outside the banking system. Similarly, the Central Bank of Nigeria has directed deposit money banks to commence payment of the redesigned Naira notes over the counter, subject to a maximum daily payout limit of 20,000 Naira. The directive is coming on the heels of businesses grinding to a halt over the scarcity of the redesigned notes. The statement, which was signed by the Director of Corporate Communication, Osita Nwani-Tobi, said the CBN observed with grave concern the activities of persons who sell the newly redesigned banknotes and those who flagrantly abuse the legal tender by hurling wads of Naira notes in the air and stamping on the currency at social functions. The CBN reiterated its commitment to Nigerians to ensure the effective distribution of the newly introduced Naira banknotes, urging them to exercise patience as the CBN is working to address the challenge of queues at ATMs. Nwani-Tobi said the CBN is collaborating with the Nigerian Police, Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit to address the unpatriotic practice. The Central Bank of Nigeria has deployed monitoring teams, including personnel of the EFCC, to checkmate activities of commercial banks, money agents, and POS operators in Gombe State. According to a deputy director of the Central Bank, who is a member of the CBN team deployed to Gombe State, Ahmed Barrow, the move to collaborate with the EFCC is to clamp down on any commercial bank, agents, and point-of-sale operators hoarding the redesigned Naira notes in the state.
Not right. It's not right at all. It's not right. And I think if we get to get hold of such POS, I think they will regret their action really.
Because we learned that you're also moving with EFCC official. Why?
It was a directive that was given when the governor of the central bank addressed the press the other day, but he specifically made mention that EFCC will join the team. Not just EFCC, even the NFI, that is the Financial Intelligence Unit, will also join us. Even the ICPC, that is the Independent Corrupt Practice and Related Offences Commission, will also join us. So we're expecting them. If EFCC has actually joined, so we are also expecting those two. But it's not really surprising because the EFCC is an Economic Financial Crime Commission. So, and they are really very critical in this our process.
The Kaduna State Police Command has arrested security personnel attached to a commercial bank for allegedly trading the new Naira notes. The Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Muhammad Jalige, made this known while parading the suspects at the command's headquarters in Kaduna. The report.
Parading the suspect on behalf of the Police Commissioner Yakini Ayoku, the PPRO said 2 redesigned Naira note hawkers were arrested with different denominations of both old and the new currency.
DPO Sabon Garizaria led his patrol team to Daddy Park, Sabon Garizaria, where they raided and arrested 2 currency hawkers, namely Alhatu Yusuf, M32 years, and Mohammed Kabir, 18 years, all of same Samu Rosaria, and recovered different denominations of both old and redesigned Naira notes from them. One Thomas Tokan, M of Hanwa area, who is a security personnel attached to Stanbic IBTC Bank, PZ branch, was also arrested at the bank premises selling the redesigned Naira notes.
Also paraded were 3 women and a man in connection with the missing of a 6-year-old child who was allegedly sold at the sum of 100,000 naira.
The command received a report that one Hajara Ashiru, F, 6 years old, was missing, and the command immediately mobilized operatives, swung into action, and one Safia Ilyasu, female of 32 years old, who is a neighbor to the parents of the missing child, was arrested. During the course of investigation, the following suspects were equally arrested. Hussein Adamu, 45 years old, of High Malambello; Rukaya Abubakar, 32 years old, of Rikania Quarters, Kaduna, in connection to the disappearance of the 6-year-old child. The victim was rescued on hot after having been sold for the sum of 100,000 naira.
Items recovered from the suspect include AK-47 rifle, cash, and mobile phones. While commending the force for working tirelessly to rid the state of criminal activities, the commissioner called on residents to support the police by reporting suspicious activities, as security is everyone's business. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Information Minister Lai Mohammed says President Muhammadu Buhari is in total support of the APC presidential candidate Bola Tinubu, contrary to some claims in some quarters. The minister made clarifications on the purported rift between the presidency and the APC Presidential Campaign Council ahead of the 25th February election. Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman reports.
There has been deepening suspicion in the camp of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, with top party chieftains alleging sabotage from elements within the presidency. But the presidency has consistently denied such claims, maintaining a posture of ensuring a level playing field for all contestants, irrespective of political party affiliation.
It is preposterous to even suggest that Mr. President, who is the leader of our party, is equivocating on his support for a presidential candidate.
Presenting his ministry scorecard, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema painted the picture of a country finding its footings in the global politics, diplomacy and economy, while maintaining Africa as its diplomatic centerpiece. He also shares concerns on treatment meted against Nigerians in diaspora.
If there's one thing that I look back on with the greatest regret in my 7.5 years in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it is the situation of Nigerians in foreign countries, in foreign prisons, and having to go and evacuate Nigerians from the middle of the desert. And I went to Libya, I actually shed tears.
The minister parried media inquiries on the impact of unprecedented number of presidential foreign trips on Nigeria's image and economy, amongst others. Shafi'u Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal by the People's Democratic Party seeking to restore the nullification of the participation of Osun's ex-governor Boyega Oyetola and his deputy Benedict Alabi in the July 16, 2022 governorship election. A 5-member panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Santos Nweze on Thursday, held that the appeal by the PDP lacked merit and directed the counsel to the PDP, Kehinde Ogunwumiju, to withdraw it. The court held that the PDP could not, under the law, question the process leading to the emergence of Oyetola and Alabi as candidates of the APC in the election. Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja had, in a judgment on September 30, 2022, nullified the participation of Oyetola and Alabi in the governorship election on the grounds that their nomination forms were endorsed by an acting chairman of the APC, who was also a serving governor of Yobe State, Maimala Buni. Justice Nwite's judgment was set aside by the Court of Appeal Abuja in a judgment in December last year, a decision the PDP appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court on Thursday reaffirmed Hajia Laila Buhari as PDP Kano Central Senatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party. The appeal court had earlier affirmed Laila Buhari, nullifying the election of Damburan Nuhu. The Apex Court, in a lead judgment read by Justice Muhammad Lawal Garba, dismissed all the grounds of appeal by the appellant Damburan Nuhu. Justice Garba was in sync with Justice Kudirat Kekere-Akun, Justice Saulawa, Justice Ibrahim Jauro, and Justice Emmanuel Ajim. A 2-story commercial complex under construction in Gwarimpa district of the Federal Capital Territory on Thursday afternoon collapsed, trapping over 50 persons. Emergency response teams dispatched to the area said rescue is still ongoing and will continue till the last victim is out. According to officials, 1 person is feared dead while 20 persons have been rescued. Authorities at Abuja Metropolitan Management Council noted that while the council won't apportion blames to anyone yet, investigation will commence immediately to ascertain the remote and immediate causes of the incident.
For us to start apportioning blame now, we are going to be distracted in the operation of saving lives. However, at the end of everything, at the end of the exercise, the whole of this area is going to be subjected to what we call integrity tests to make sure all the buildings that are around this area are sound. If it is not that sound, we now stop whatever development is there. If it is so that we bring it down, we bring it down.
A lot of people come work today because we are even lacking some workers like that. So a lot of people come today. We have people that are parking blocks. We have people that are serving us. We have mercy where we they work. So really, we measure sand finish. We start our work. So me, I just come on. I just went out small, make I buy something. So before I know, I hear shout, "Quick!" But see where are they? I don't even go my way coming. I see this building is going down. It just goes down automatically.
In this kind of operation, it's usually multi-agency, multi-stakeholders operation. That is why you can find fire here, police, civil defense, road safety, and even some construction companies, because no one agency has all the equipment that is needed to perform this kind of complex operation.
You can see what the struggle we are making. The crane is working, all security agencies are around, and other good Samaritans are also around to give a helping hand to see that those who are trapped inside have been are rescued. Yes.
You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, how young girls manage unplanned pregnancies. Do stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Media Trust Group, in collaboration with the Center for Democracy and Development, presents the 2023 Kano gubernatorial debate, featuring candidates of 4 major political parties: Nasir Yusuf Gawuna of the APC, Bashir Ishaq Bashir of the Labour Party, Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NMPP, and Muhammad Abacha of the PDP. Date: Saturday, 4th February 2023. Time: 10 a.m. Venue:
Bayero University Kano News Site.
The event is strictly by invitation and no political supporters are expected at the venue.
I will be there.
I will be there. I will be there.
Media partners: Express Radio 90.3 FM, Nasara Radio 98.5 FM, Freedom Radio, and ARTV Kano.
The debate will be broadcast live on Trust TV and other channels across the country.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching Trust News Update, a recap of our stories. We told you that Finance Minister says current hardship over new Naira notes temporary as Central Bank of Nigeria directs banks to pay currency over the counter. You also heard that two-story building collapses in Abuja, many trapped. Moving to health, 2 persons have died from Lassa fever in Edo, raising the fatality figure in the state to 16. The State Commissioner for Health, Professor Korea Obehi, who disclosed this while briefing journalists in Benin City on Wednesday, said Edo recorded 7 more confirmed cases of Lassa fever. According to her, the total number of confirmed cases in the state stands at 132. She stated that most of the deaths recorded in the state are persons who are unwell and failed to report to a proper hospital for care until they developed complications. Obehi urged residents of the state to take responsibility to work with the Ministry of Health, observe preventive measures, and report early symptoms suspected to be malaria or any other illness that presents a liken to malaria so as to receive proper care. The local government areas most affected by the virus include Esako West, Ishan West, and Ishan Northeast, with 51, 34, and 27 confirmed cases, respectively. Nigerians are worried over restrictive law on abortion in the country, resulting into rampant unsafe abortions among young girls and women. In most cases, many of these girls and women die in the hands of quacks who secretly terminate their unwanted pregnancies. Hamid Oyegbade reports.
The World Health Organization says 6 out of 10 of all unintended pregnancies end in an induced abortion. Abortion in Nigeria is punishable as offenders are liable to 14 years imprisonment. The country's law allows abortion only when the life of a pregnant woman is in danger. As a result of this restriction, young girls and women in the country end up patronizing quacks for clandestine abortion services that are more often than not carried out in an unsafe manner. The WHO says around 45% of all abortions are unsafe. Of that number, WHO says 97% takes place in the developing countries, noting that unsafe abortion is a leading cause of maternal death and morbidities.
Abortion is not 100% outlawed in Nigeria. The government believes that when the life of a mother is at risk or is in danger by the continuous existence of a pregnancy, then such a pregnancy must be aborted.
Concerned Nigerians called on the legislative and executive arms of government to work towards expanding abortion laws in Nigeria to prevent avoidable deaths from unsafe abortions in the country.
I think that it's high time that the federal government review the laws around abortion, because whether we like it or not, people are carrying out abortions by themselves. They are risking their lives.
This thing can stop. What do we need to do to allow our system provide, for women who, due to incest, due to rape, due to other things that are not their faults, become pregnant, and if they don't want to keep these children or these pregnancies, they should have access to good health care that will take care of these pregnancies.
They believe that an expansion of the abortion law in Nigeria will enable girls and women to access safe abortion and guarantee their sexual reproductive health rights. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
An expert in agriculture has advised farmers, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, to plant early maturing seeds to mitigate early cessation of rainfall this year. The expert, Professor Mohammed Fuguji, who is also the Executive Director, Institute of Agricultural Research, Zaria, made the assertion during an interaction with newsmen on Nigerian Meteorological Agency weather prediction for 2023 in Zaria. NIMET has predicted earlier a long-term average rainfall onset date for 2023, which experts say will hamper harvest this year. Professor Fuguji warned farmers, especially in the northern part of the country, to start looking for drought-tolerant crops as part of measures for the early cessation of rainfall. The executive director described the NIMET's prediction on the normal cessation of the rainfall as good news because the rainy season will cease at the time farmers are used to.
In the drier parts of the country, Jigawa, Kano, northern part of Bauchi State, rain ceases around 30th of September in most cases. So according to their prediction, this picture is going to persist even this year, except for, they said, Jigawa, Kano, and Katsina states. The rain is likely going to cease earlier than normal, which means maybe towards the end of the second week of September, maybe. That is when it will cease. So that's the area of concern, and we need to advise our farmers. There's this bad news of early cessation in most places. But the flood, as predicted, going to be still around the usual places in the year between August and September. August and September. The only advice around this is all low-lying places should be planted with those crops that can withstand high precipitation, like rice and so on.
And on the international scene, Pope Francis has urged young people in the Democratic Republic of Congo to forge a new future without the ethnic rivalry, corruption and distrust that have fueled many bloody conflicts in Africa. He was addressing more than 65,000 youths on Thursday at Matters Stadium in the capital, Kinshasa. Francis spoke of forgiveness and reconciliation, themes that have dominated his visit to the country where armed conflict has killed and displaced millions of people over the past decades. Thursday's speech focused on what he called ingredients for the future and struck a more hopeful tone than his previous ones as he spoke of potential new horizons for the country. The eastern region has been plagued by violence connected to the long and complex fallout from the 1994 genocide in neighboring Rwanda, which played out along ethnic fault lines. And finally, in sports, France centre-back Raphael Varane, a World Cup winner in 2018 and runner-up last year, announced Thursday his retirement from international duty at the age of 29. The Manchester United defender, who made his France debut in 2013 and won 93 caps for Les Bleus, had been in the run-in to take over as captain following the retirement of Hugo Lloris last month. Varane's decision to call time on his France career leaves Kylian Mbappe as the front runner for the captaincy, with Didier Deschamps' side set to begin Euro 2024 qualifying at the end of March with the double-header against the Netherlands and the Republic of Ireland. The former Real Madrid star played every minute of his country's triumphant 2018 World Cup campaign as France defeated Croatia 4-2 in the final and was one of the 5 French players who also started the 2022 final defeat by Argentina on penalties. And with this, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.